A very good morning to my dear students and a warm welcome to the second session of the grammar class. I hope you are enjoying it. I had given some work for you. I hope you have done it when we're doing the word class or the parts of speech. Okay, if I take time to revise that, I may not be able to complete the one that I'm planning to do for you today. That is a quick recap of the word class. That is the word class or the parts of speech. The parts of speech are the different words which have been given some function to perform. Accordingly, according to the function that they perform, the words in English language have been classified into 8 parts of speech. That is the noun, pronoun and the adjective, which forms the first group, the verb and the adverb the second group, and the third group or the other group includes the conjunction, preposition and the interjection. Now you know what function they perform. To be very precise, the noun is the naming word. The pronoun shows the relation between a noun and a pronoun. The adjective is a describing word. The verb is an action verb. The adverb modifies the action and tells how the action is done. Then you have the interjection and the preposition and the conjunction. Conjunction is a connecting word, and interjection expresses ideas of the mind, high states of ideas, and the preposition shows the relation between the noun and the pronoun. This is the basic description that I can give or revision I can give on the word class. Okay, today we are going to do a little different concept which is very important in English grammar. That is the subject verb concord, the subject verb agreement. That is, the basic rule is that if the verb, the subject is singular, the verb has to be in singular. If the subject is in plural, the verb also has to be plural. In short, the verb has to agree with the number of the subject. The singular or plural is the number of the subject. So, if a sentence has to be grammatically correct, the verb has to agree with the number of the subject. If the subject is singular, the verb also has to be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb also has to be plural. Now, for example, just listen to the sentence I am going to give you. The girl are playing in the ground. I said the girl are playing in the ground. Okay, that the children is eating chocolates. The children is eating chocolate. Are the sentence grammatically correct? The first sentence I said the girl are playing in the ground. The girl is singular. The verb also has to be singular. So how will you correct that sentence? The girl is playing in the ground. Is, because the subject is singular, the verb also has to be singular. Now the second sentence I said the children is eating chocolates. Children is the subject. It is plural, more than one. So the verb has to agree with the plural subject. So you have to say the children are eating chocolates. This concept is called as the subject verb concord or agreement. The subject, the verb has to agree with the number of the subject. Now there are around 10 rules regarding this, out of which I will be taking only 4 for you, otherwise you will be confused, so I will go slow. 4 I will take for the time being. The first rule is, as I told you, if the subject is singular, the verb has to be singular. How do you make the verb singular? For example, is, are, of course you know. Otherwise, from the root verb, how will you make the singular subject? Simple. Just add s to the verb. If it is noun or pronoun in singular, you have to add s to the root verb. For example, she reads the book every day. She reads. What is the root verb? Read. But to make it singular, you have added one s to the verb, reads. He goes out in the evening. Go is the verb, but you have to add es. You can't add just s. Okay, goes, goes. So to make the verb singular, you have to add one s to the verb. She eats chocolates. They eat chocolate. So this is the basic first rule that you have to remember, that is add one s to the root verb to make it singular. Whenever the subject is singular, you have to add one s to the verb to make it singular. The first rule. Second rule is when there are two subjects connected, listen carefully, when there are two subjects connected by some conjunction like and. For example, Govind and Hari. Govind and Hari are two nouns which is connected by the conjunction and, right? Okay, Govind and Hari are good friends. When there are two subjects connected by a conjunction like this and, then the verb takes a plural form. Govind and Hari are good friends. You can't say Govind and Hari is good friends. Got it? That is the second rule. And the third rule is when there are two subjects in a sentence. I didn't say connected by a conjunction. When you are talking about two subjects, the verb has to agree with the second subject just before the verb. When there are two subjects coming in a sentence, the verb has to agree with the second subject which comes just before it. For example, the students, it's in plural, the students or the teacher singular has taken the book. The students or the teacher has taken the book. Now, which is the subject that comes just before the verb has? The teacher. And the teacher is in singular form. So, I have to use has and not have because the first subject is in plural. Got it? The students or the teacher has taken the book. Got it? Two subjects. But the second subject, since it is in singular, you have to use the singular verb. So that is the third rule. When there are two subjects in a sentence, the second subject which comes next to it, the verb has to agree with that verb, that subject. Okay, the number of that subject. That is the third rule. Now for the fourth rule, four only I discussed today. For the fourth rule, when you are using a collective noun, when the subject is a collective noun, the verb will always be singular. Get it into your mind. When the subject is a collective noun, the verb always will be in singular. For example, I have kept a bouquet of flowers there. A bouquet of flowers. Don't think of that flowers as plural. We are talking about a bouquet, a collective noun. So, I have kept a bouquet of flowers there. A bouquet of flowers is on the table. Is, not are. The staff is at a meeting. Staff means the staff members of whichever office it is. The staff is at a meeting. Staff again is a singular collective noun. So it is used as a singular verb. Okay. So whenever it is a collective noun that comes as a subject, the verb always should be in singular. Now, another one more rule I will tell you. when you are talking about two things which usually go together as a single word, you always use the singular verb. When two words are used which usually go together as a single meaning, you use a singular verb. For example, bread and jam is a good breakfast. Bread and jam, that comes together as a one thing only. Bread and jam is a good breakfast. Got it? When two words are used to denote a single meaning. Oh, that cup and saucer looks beautiful. Cups and saucer looks. Have added s to the verb. That means the verb is used in singular. I told you that first rule. Whenever you want to make a verb singular, you have to add one s to the verb. Okay? The cup and saucer is or looks beautiful. Cup and saucer, it goes together. Okay, lock and key, hammer and nail, all this go together. So we have discussed this many rules to show the subject verb concord or the subject verb agreement. If the subject is singular, the verb has to be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb has to be in plural. When two words or names are connected with and, the subject should be in plural. When they are connected by and, the verb has to be in plural. When two words are used to denote the same thing, then the word is used in singular. In a collective noun, the verb is always used in singular. There are total 10 more rules that we have to learn. You have to just by heart it, like you by heart a formula in your mathematics or algebra. You have to just by heart it, and unless the verb, subject verb concord is correct, the sentence will be grammatically wrong. So you have to be very, very careful about this. I'll be giving some exercises related to this concept, and I want all of you to get it right. Till we meet again, bye bye, and have a good day, children.